Like, this is mine, mine, mine. No one can take it. No one can touch it. This is not going anywhere. Hello, 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 and welcome to Mercury Rising. It's me, Joji, with another Keeping Up with Moon. I hope you've been enjoying them so far. I definitely have been enjoying making them. Also, as much as I've been super stressed trying to keep it consistent, do these daily. It's a lot of work, but I hope that you're enjoying it. And if you have any comments, concerns, or tips, or anything like that, leave it in the comments, because I actually do want to make these for you. So if you have any idea of how to make these better, please let me know. I know that sometimes I'm not the best at doing outros. I would just be like, yes, this is what I got to say for today. But I think that there's also some good that can come out of that, because if I end it abruptly, then you get to actually do some thinking, like, oh, what did that mean? At the end of the day, these are supposed to be like more of a tool for you to think about whatever's going on in your life, because I don't have your chart, so I can't be super accurate with predictions, forecasts, and all that. These are super general. I'm trying to do these for everybody, so I can make very precise statements. That's your job. Your job is to take what I said and see how that applies to your chart. So do that. And like always, these come from my Instagram at astroboyjoji. At astroboy.joji, can't forget that. And yes, like always, it's always best to go there, read the delineation, read the really short passage that I write, and then come here to get a little bit of an explanation. And like I said, do some thinking afterwards. So with that, let's get to the astrology of August 13th. So the astrology of August 13th. Very, very nice. So we're at the very last degrees of Moon in Libra, and after that she goes into Scorpio. Not the most exciting, but rewarding nonetheless. It's a journey. She won't stay there forever, unless you, of course, have the moon in Scorpio, and that's a different story. That's with you for life, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's tricky to work around it, but it's not always a bad thing. But anyways, so moon in Libra. And we've been talking about Virgo so much for the past few days, and we're going to continue talking about Virgo because Venus, the ruler of the moon today, is still in Virgo. The thing that I really wanted to talk about this specific decan that the moon is in today is that this is the decan of balance. It's a decan of rest. And I think that this is what we need today. It might be a little bit difficult because the moon is square to Pluto, making things really intense, but I think that's definitely viable nonetheless. I think that one of the things that I talked about in the Instagram is that rest might not be like literal rest, just stay in bed all day. It can be just this weight that I'm carrying, these people, these things, these projects, they're too heavy. I need to drop them for a second. You don't have to drop it forever. Maybe you do. That's up for you to answer. It's time to do some dropping off. You don't have to carry everything with you forever and ever and ever. One of the things that that's really important to pay attention to is also the decan of Pluto, since we're talking about the moon square to Pluto over here. If we're talking about the decan of the moon, the Jupiter-ruled decan in Libra, it's the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords, I think it's like a warrior. He looks like he's dead, but apparently he isn't. He's just taking a nap, but there's more fighting to do. I think the title of the card is Rest from Strife, something along those lines. So it's really like learning how to take that time that you need to rest in the middle of a journey. The moon is now on the first sextile since the new moon, so there's some really good and positive things that can come out of this placement. But if you don't really allow yourself the time to rest, you might end up taking some of that heavy weight into the moon in Scorpio, and I don't think anyone wants to do that. Moon in Scorpio naturally will really just force us to deal with some really deep-seated emotions, so I don't think we want any extra baggage. And this is even made more true. I know that I got totally sidetracked here and I went everywhere, but going back to the decan of Pluto, that's the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles embodies the strong idea of attachment. and especially attachment to material things and the things that you own. And Pluto naturally is a very obsessive planet. It tells the story of Hades. Look what he did to Persephone. You know? So it's really this whole, like, this is mine, mine, mine. No one can take it. No one can touch it. This is not going anywhere. And then sometimes that's sort of protectiveness is really good. But if we're holding on to some of the trash, or some of the insecurities, or some of the problems that we might have faced throughout the Virgo journey, because as much as I've talked lots of positive things about Venus and Virgo, it is still a very challenging placement. It's really clinical and almost cold in the way that it approaches interacting with people, other things, and even when interacting with the self. It's this need for things to be exactly the way that they need to be, you know? It's holding things up to this standard of beauty that might not necessarily be attainable. And that beauty can, yes, speak of literal beauty, but it can also just speak of the things that you enjoy in life that may or may not be beneficial. So the reward of this square is really learning how to let those things go. Not an easy task, that's for sure. But again, going all the way back to the new moon, go back to the song where I talked about the warrior grabbing the sword. Grab my sword 'cause I'm fighting. And we're out here in 4 swords. Guy is actually putting down his sword, because if we one thing that I've been talking about for the past few days is Virgo as this training ground. So you've been through the training ground, and now you have to, like, put down the sword and let what you learned marinate a little bit, internalize it, just so you can know what it is to do next. We're not quite at the end of the cycle yet. We're far from it. So allow yourself a break from people, allow yourself a break from your responsibilities, allow yourself a break from yourself and your criticism. It's okay. There's life to live. There's so much life to live. You don't have to figure it out all in one go. And I think that I'm repeating something that I said on the past few days. But yes, today is the day. Use this moon square to Pluto to be obsessively dropping things off. Not to hold on to them. Don't hold on to them. It'll be easier to do so, but that's not what we need right now. But with that said, I think that pretty much covers the vibe of today. And I hope that these have been helpful in some way to you. Like always, let me know in the comments if anything has panned out, or if you've made any interesting discovery. Yeah. That's it. I hope that you liked it. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. I'd like to take this moment to thank and credit my teachers and people who have influenced me throughout my studies. These are also people who I may quote from time to time. Thaddeus Valens, Dimitra George, Patrick Watson, Firmicus Maternus, Dorotheus, Lisa Shine, Austin Coppa, Kelly Surtees, Gemini Brett, Samuel Reynolds, Hermes, T. Susan Chang, Mel Meline, Chris Brennan, Saint Expedite, Gordon White, Connor Habib, and Eric L. Arnenson.